Metro Times to capitalize B in black when using it for race. You know I'm going to say that again. Metro Times to capitalize B in black when using it for race. Kushner won't say whether Trump's birtherism was racist. You know I'm going to say that again. Kushner won't say whether Trump's birtherism was racist. Alright, doing the test run on this, see how this coming out. Yesterday didn't sound too good, I didn't like that. It says, Darrell Jones back in court as prosecutors seek grounds for retrial. You know I'm going to say that again. Darrell Jones back in court as prosecutors seek grounds for retrial.
I'm married to a Colombian. I pay money to give it to this country. What? Yeah, but I'm giving it to the public. So,
no, but I don't even see that.
You wear your gold hat.
A judge must decide if prosecutors can present evidence that a white man charged with stabbing a black student to death on UMB's campus belonged to a racist Facebook group. Sean Urbanski is charged with first-degree murder and a hate crime in the 2017 killing of Bowie State University student Richard Collins III. Collins was visiting friends in College Park when he was killed.
It made me feel really sad and targeted.
11-year-old Jasmine Spencer is still in disbelief over what happened at school Friday. The 5th grader at Linwood Elementary School says she and her friends, mostly children of color, were misbehaving at lunch when a school employee said this to them.
You are scammed. She's tackling every opportunity to make something that's going wrong right. Better call bacon.
A St. Petersburg student was tased in the lunchroom of John Hopkins Middle School in St. Pete. The boy's mom says she was told he charged at the school resource officer, but a cell phone video taken by another student appears to capture something else. There's surveillance video of the whole incident, but the school refuses to let the mother see it.
Describing racial or ethnic groups, most writing guidelines require capitalization for words like Asian or African American. However, many don't require it for the words black or white.
As 7 News reporter Simon Chowdhury explains, Detroit Metro Times announced a new style guideline when it comes to capitalizing the B in black.
Well, Pat, if you want to know what it's like to live in a city with far too many rats and too much garbage, talk to the people who are living closest to them, the homeless, members of the homeless community like Darlene Gray.
No, absolutely not. You can't not be a racist for 69 years, then run for president and be a racist. And what I'll say is that when a lot of the Democrats call the president a racist, I think they're doing a disservice to people who suffer because of real racism in this country.
Kathy's live now. Will the manager involved be back at work here, Kathy?
Like, oh, not in Maple Heights. That's what just kept freaking me out. Not out here in Maple Heights. This couldn't happen in Maple Heights.
Well, it did tonight. An arrest in a brutal attack that shocked that community. Maple Heights police say they've got the guy who attacked an 88-year-old woman who was waiting for a bus.
After spending more than 30 years in prison for a murder he maintains he did not commit, Darrell Jones is at risk of being sent back again. Ahead of a new trial set to start Monday into the 1985 shooting death of Guillermo Rodriguez in Brockton, Jones' defense is dealing with some major recent setbacks. His case was first highlighted by the New England Center of Investigative Reporting and WBUR, which uncovered evidence that his conviction may have been the product of racial animus by at least one member of the all-white jury. On top of that, there was the video testimony used to help convict Jones, which the court determined was tampered with by Brockton police. It briefly cuts to a 1950s TV show, potentially omitting key exculpatory evidence.
Welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is Black Minds News, and I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, coming with another live show. That's right, y'all. 3 days in a row. Told you I'm going to try to get it back in, but I got to show you something after we do what we do. First and foremost, I want to say hello to my subscribers who should just happen to catch the show live right now. What's good, fam? Welcome to be here. And if you should just happen to be a passerby, well, it's like a grand opening all the time over here. Because, again, I've been on for some time. But, again, my show is the most hated show. It's hidden in the corner. So if you should happen to catch it, what you do is you go down the aisle, see something you might like. Maybe you hit a dislike button. What I could do is have my supervisor come out to you and have speak a couple syllables to you. And then we might work something out to get you to come back the next time. And maybe that time you come back, you might like something. And you might subscribe, like the video, share, and so forth, and everything else. All right? So, you know how it is, y'all. This show here, let me go ahead and get a spill out, because, again, this is Black Minds News. I'm your host. I'm the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this show is to report, translate, articulate, decode, unveil, spread the news, whether it's by news, video, websites, or quotes from publications. As I, your whiteologist, disseminate this information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created the so-called greatest land that we call the United States, as a BADOS, or ADOS, as some may say, we give honor to our ancestors. And you know what my motto is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Now, let me show y'all something right quick, man. Let me, again, why they keep saying you the most hated show on the black corner of the internet, but you always say that, but, it don't look like nobody be watching you. Kind of told like Max, I always feel like somebody watching me. Well, check this out. Look what I got the other day. Let me show y'all this. Yesterday, right? Let me show y'all something right quick. See this here? I got your video has been removed from YouTube. Let me say that again. Your video has been removed from YouTube. Now, I got this yesterday, June 5th, 2019. Gave to me about 5:54 yesterday. It says, hi, Mr. Blows Your Mind. As you may know, our community guideline describes which contents we allow and don't allow on YouTube. Your video, Extinction of the White Race Approaching, was flagged to us for review. Upon review, we determined that it violates our guidelines and we removed it from YouTube. We know that this might be disappointing, but it's important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all if content breaks our rules. We removed it. If you think we made a mistake, you can appeal and we'll take another look. Keep reading for more details. Video content restriction. Content glorifying or inciting violence against another person or group of people is not allowed on YouTube. We also don't allow any content that encourages hatred of another person or group of people based on their membership in a protected group. We review educational, documentary, artistic, and scientific content on a case-by-case basis. Limited exceptions are made for content with sufficient and appropriate context and where the purpose of posting is clear. Okay? It says impact of your account. Please note that this removal has not resulted in the community guidelines strike or penalty on your account. We encourage you to review blah blah skibby woo 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 woo. All right? So, as I keep telling you, I am the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. You see that video right there? White Extinction. Remember, that was my viral video. That video been on this YouTube for 5-6 years. They've been working, and yet you made that video where nobody could see it, but yet somebody coming and saying community guideline. No, this is all inside stuff. This is them people inside who decided that they so hurt about what was said on that video that it must be taken down after it already had met 250,000, and I'm pretty sure it already had hit over 1 million, but they made sure that it would not get any more because you didn't like the fact that what it said. No specification of me talking about killing you. No specification of making black people incite to come after you. All it was talking about what was factual. Right? That's all it was. Factual. But again, you said, well, if you decide that you want to say that we want to appeal it before, because I came to you before to say why you got it restricted. Because people are offended. Well, if you see something that offends you once, then don't you keep moving on? Why do you have to come and say, I ain't gonna take it down because I don't like it? Everything how you see is always the way it has to be. See, we can't tell the truth, even though, again, my show here is a news show. See, that's what makes my show hard for them, because it's a news show. I present what you present, and I just make sure that my people see what's out there. But again, it is what it is, right? So I don't want to, again, let me know if I'm too, let me hear something. All right, there you go. Because yesterday, nobody wanted to tell me that my microphone was a little bit too loud, because yesterday, I kind of adjusted the microphone yesterday. So yesterday's show going to sound kind of not like it's probably sounding right now. And yesterday had some good information. So again, what's up? I want to say, Leonard DeYuta, what's good with you as well? What's up, brother, as well? But again, I hope you just seen what I just presented, because yesterday they gave me the notification yesterday, and I was like, what they talking about? Then today I just showed you. They went and they took off the video, my viral video, because again, they can't justify the fact that it was not getting any numbers. Yet the number won't change, but yet you keep saying that people are coming in there and then they're sending either strikes or complaining about the community. But ain't nobody seeing it, so it has to be internal. Well, we understand what it is. We know fragility of mind. It's anything when we start trying to lay down what is factual from our perspective that you can't refute. It's offensive. Not the fact that it's being done and make some changes. No, we're just going to remove that. So you know where it is going, don't y'all? All right. So anyway, Black Minds News. Let's get into the show. Again, I want to say what's good to the family and everybody in the house, and the DeYuta as always. Like to see you up in here, brother. That's good. Now let's go ahead and start getting the show off, because again, like I said, in this United States that we live in as Black Americans in this country, it is a place that, again, it has its good, its bad, and its ugly, right? We try to find comfort in where we can, and we always on the move, trying to make sure that we're trying to preserve each other and going through all the obstacles, not to get caught in somebody else's traps that are laying for us. So what happens, right? So I got this story here, and let's see how this. We're gonna start the show off with this right quick. Let's go ahead and do this, and we should be right back. Check this out, and be right back. Check it out.
So I'm married to a Colombian. I pay money to give into this country. What?
But you're not paying money to me.
Yeah, but I'm giving it to the public. Go.
No, but I don't even see that.
You wear your gold hat. I'm giving money to
But what does my gold hat have to do with you and the money that you give to this country? Let me personal now. But being rude. I don't know what your frustrations are, but as a Harvard graduate, I don't think that's on. You with your navy blazer.
So you can shut down.
Get away from us. Please, get away.
Okay?
Get away.
Cool.
I think you get
away.
Too many.
Please.
Cool.
Thank you. Very much.
Alright.
Don't. Why are you still talking?
Do you know that I've given 150 million
Who
rand to your
cares?
people?
Yes. Yes.
Because I give to you
So
people.
How much more have you taken?
I've taken nothing.
How much more have your people taken? If you want to talk about 150 million, how much?
All right. See, in South Africa, it seemed like it was a little incident that took place in like an airport. And it seems like somebody still had the flashbacks about get to the back and allow me to move and proceed forward. You know what I'm saying? I had precedence over you. I am classified as some of the superior people. So, you know, it would only be right that you, as a Negro, pardon the Red Sea and allow me to go ahead before you. It would be the right thing for a black person to do. So what we see there is we see that sister in there was like, we ain't buying that. So my man goes into his little spiel and says, well, you know what? You know, I give a lot of money to this country. You understand? I give a lot of money. She said, well, what does that got to do with us? Well, I give a lot of money to the public. Oh, what does that got to do with us? Well, because you were able to have that gold hat on your head. Huh? It's because I giving money that allows you to afford the things you got. Right? And so, you know, he goes on to this later on, and then he talks about, right? I put 150 million. She said, well, I've given so much. And then the sisters was like, well, how much have you taken? I ain't take nothing. I haven't taken anything. Y'all take it. She said, no, not just you. Y'all have taken so much. And then you always want to flaunt in our face like you've done so much, this humanitarian and philanthropist aspect of y'all stuff, as if everybody is kind of blindsided about history. See, this I am before everything and I am special. See, in the same thing here, you would say that promoting hate. No, this is what it is. You see, the evidence is right before you. We don't have to make up anything. The problem is, can you show on the other half when we're doing that to you? It'd be very sporadic. If you should find any, there will be sporadics and crumbs, but there won't be a majority. See, our evidence is so preponderant. If it was a law case, you lose every time. So now everybody's getting very offensive. And so you see, he decided that because he couldn't get his way, now he wanted to get physical. Hey, move back, homie. Get back. He wasn't trying to hit it. Again, he was trying to bully. See, we can't be the victim. You can be the victim and the aggressor at the same time. Kind of like at the end of the show, when you see Don King gives that nice display as into his rendition as what he talking about. Excuse me, master. He said, what he say? He said that these people are, just wait to the end. You just wait to the end to see it. But anyway, so we see in now South Africa, again, South Africa having its history and what's going on. Again, it just had the election not too long ago. And again, they're trying to eradicate that which is ailing the country, that has made a division in the country, and want to extricate it. But again, the people, again, knowing that the history is, knowing what you have done and how you isolate the country. Again, you can see one side of South Africa where it's nice and, you know, has elbow room and it's nice. But then on the other side of the fence, they all congested up, all piled up on each other. You can see the black side and the white side. But if we bring this forth, then something is wrong with us because we bring it to light. But again, it's just what it is. This is news. This is Black Minds News. This is not what the media of mainstream is going to do. So we don't have the media outlet. So it's incumbent that some of us have to do what we have to do, because you have to be informed about what's going on the daily. So let's move to the next story here. Right? So again, let's say again, as YouTube just displayed and said that, you know, my material that I put out there, I guess it's more just offensive. Can't say that I was sitting there directly targeting anybody, when it was just really about saying that, again, bringing attention to the fact that these people are having a problem with procreation. They never wanted you to know that. You understand? They never really wanted you to know that. They knew it, but they didn't want you to know it. And so now that it's in the conscience of their mind that they think that y'all know, they can't live like that, because they swear down that we after them. You ever know, been in a relationship with somebody, maybe this haven't happened to you, but if you've been around a little bit, you maybe went through that. Somebody constantly is always saying, you know, like you cheating or this and that. You know what that normally be? That be their subconscious eating at them of the guilt what's inside of them. And so what they do to relieve themselves, they have to try to reverse the situation in order to try to, reverse psychology you, when really it's their own guilt speaking about who they really are, right? So let me show you this story here. Just in case we should have somebody new in the house, again, what I'll do once in a while is I'll do my little, little rendition in front of it. This is how it's been kind of doing a little bit. I've been getting a little traffic lately as the subscribers, but you still they're going to have me in this corner. So let's see what they then took off white extinction if they're going to finally let me out after again. Yesterday, I showed y'all, matter of fact, Leonard DeYuta was in here when I showed the whole thing about them not being in the search engine, and then I be damned, after I got off, they came with that one. So now what you going to do? Now that you got the one you want off, are you going to let me back in the search engine now? Is that what y'all finna do? Well, we'll see. Stay tuned. But watch this. Be right back.
A judge must decide if prosecutors can present evidence that a white man charged with stabbing a black student to death on UMD's campus belonged to a racist Facebook group. Sean Urbanski is charged with first-degree murder and a hate crime in the 2017 killing of Bowie State University student Richard Collins III. Collins was visiting friends in College Park when he was killed.
All right, so we see that individual was 2017 Richard Collins III was accosted by a white man who decided that whatever for reason it is, he lashed out, killed the brother. And so that we see that they're trying to use evidence based on his social media pages where he is associated to have fraternized with could be considered white nationalist or racist groups. And they're debating whether that should be considered part of discovery to be part of evidence. Well, I guess if a person can prove that, if, everything else is trying to show that you're not, but then we can have this to show that you are, that, association of groups, things you may have said that are, again, as we talk about today, as we talk about how YouTube says certain contests and things that are directly as to bringing harm and drawing let's just say having people to actually come after you based on shit like that, right? And so I say, why not? Now somebody say, hey, Mr. Blow, but I ain't on here telling you to do nothing. All I'm doing is reporting the news. Now I may give you some history to the background of it. I might give you some of my own personal experience, and I might even give you my opinion. But this show is not here to incite anyone. We're not here to cause violence, but we are to bring awareness about what is our, conditions as black people. Primarily, no matter where you go, it's all the same around the world, no matter where we at. Now, other people may not want to recognize it or say this is figure of our imagination or you stuck on race. It's just a construct. But the reality of it is we constantly see it on the daily, right? So, that probably coming there. So let's continue on. So let's see here. Let's see again. Say we just gonna lay out the facts, right? Everybody wants to say we make what it is up, but again, here's the evidence right before it. So check this one. I'll be right back.
It made me feel really sad and targeted.
11-year-old Jasmine Spencer is still in disbelief over what happened at school Friday. The fifth grader at Linwood Elementary School says she and her friends, mostly children of color, were misbehaving at lunch when a school employee said this to them.
The teacher was just like, you're lucky I'm not making you guys pick cotton and cleaning my house and stuff like that.
She was really upset.
Mom Sarita Spencer found out about what happened when Jasmine got home from school. She immediately went up to the school to meet with the principal and discuss the outburst.
If she were to curse at the kids or yell at them, that's forgivable and we can work past that. That would be an anger outburst to me. But to say something about picking cotton and cleaning and painting houses, that's deeper than that, and that's not something that just slips out.
Sarita wants the employee tasked with monitoring lunch and recess fired. A district spokesperson sent KGW this statement, acknowledging an incident that's prompted an ongoing personnel investigation involving human resources, and therefore they couldn't release any other information.
I just hope that it opens some dialogue. I hope that, these conversations are not easy to have, they're uncomfortable, but I think that we can all learn from each other if we keep an open mind.
A difficult lesson for Jasmine Spencer and her classmates.
They were really upset. A lot of them ended up getting really hurt inside.
We can tell you that Jasmine has attended Linwood Elementary School since kindergarten. She and her mom want to make it very clear they've loved this school. They haven't had any issues until now. We'll be sure to keep you posted on how this all shakes out. Back to you, Dan.
I think I got an article on that, so let me see if I can find that right quick. Because again, we make this stuff up, right? Again, that little girl there, she might have been mixed, right? So again, but she was also associating herself with other people who were definitely with black folks, because again, as I said, it was a bunch of black kids and herself. And you see how they try to say, well, they were misbehaving at lunch. Well, what kids at lunch ain't misbehaving? That's kind of like free time for them to just kind of, they're not in class, they eat, now they ain't done nothing to do, so they just, exerted a little bit of energy, right? Get a little energy off, and so we have to try to demonize them and make them seem like, well, see, if they wasn't doing that, then we wouldn't have to be doing what we're doing, or she wouldn't have said what she said. No, there's no place for that, right? So let me see if I got this article. Let me go ahead and read it for you right quick. It's pretty much going to say what's already been said already. So let's go ahead and I'm going to say it anyway. According to this, it says here out of KGW8, it says, you heard the little girl when she said, it made me feel really sad and targeted. Milwaukee student accused school employee of racist remarks. The teacher was like, you're lucky I'm not making you pick cotton and clean my house and stuff like that, said 11-year-old Jasmine, who is biracial. So it says a Milwaukee mother wants the employee at her daughter's school fired for an outburst during lunch on Friday. It was really devastating, said Sarita Spencer. Spencer's 11-year-old daughter, Jasmine, attends Lincoln Elementary School in Milwaukee. She said Jasmine was eating lunch with friends, mostly children of color, with a school employee reprimanded them for misbehaving. Okay? The teacher was like, you're lucky I'm not making you pick cotton, clean my house and stuff like that. Again, Jasmine, who was biracial. It made me feel really sad and targeted. Jasmine's mom found out about what happened, and when her daughter came home from school that day, she immediately went to the school, meet with the principal, and discussed the outburst. If she were to cuss at the kids or yell at them, it was forgivable. We can work past that. She said something to them about picking cotton, and pretty much what you're seeing in the video, right? Again, the article pretty much is verbatim. So again, it says the proper and ongoing. We can learn from each other. Okay, that's all. Okay, so basically just reiterated basically what the video it says. I don't need for me to actually read no more of that because it's just saying what the video has said. So again, here it is. Again, yesterday we had an incident where, again, a teacher did the same thing. And I got something coming behind this as well, right? And it seems like you got these adults who are teachers under the general idea that what we look at what professionalism is, seem to be losing their cool with children and lashing out in racial epithets. Racial epithets at children, and then talking about, now look at the psychology of the individual. The individual said, you lucky I'm not having you at my house picking cotton and stuff like that. Wait a minute. So how is it that people will say, why do black people keep holding on about race? And that was so long ago. And here's a person in 2019 who have influence on children. Matter of fact, how, again, we have to start looking at these teachers like we do police officers. We're going to have to go back and look at these children who've been participating in these classrooms and look at the ratio of the children who are getting bad grades due to them might being black. Do I need to say that again? We're going to have to go back and start looking through these records like you do a police officer when you find out that he is corrupt and he been lying and he been locking people up. Same thing's going to have to go with these teachers. When these teachers are getting caught with these racial insinuations and innuendos and things like that, we're going to have to go back into their record. And then again, because statistically as black Americans, black people in the United States, the dropout rate for black boys is high, right? Because why? Well, again, if I was, let's say I have an agenda as a person, again, as being black. And let's say we are the majority people. I know that's a nightmare for a lot of people who even said that. Oh, my God, black people's the majority. I killed myself, right? Okay, but anyway. So we the majority of the people. And our agenda is to make sure that these people that is under us never to be educated, never to think that they're better than us, to keep them always subjugated in this mindset. Even though I may not be part of an organization or anything like that, but that's my state of mind. So what is the best way for me? Impressionable clay would be somebody who's soft clay mind. Again, because again, teacher is kind of like a parent having the first, instilling so-called instructions and education coming from a teacher, right? And they kind of like doctors with a stethoscope. You trust them, but you understand that these people are still people outside of being who they are as a profession. So they can have thwarted types of mentalities and biases and racism, and what better way to be than be a damn teacher who I can influence something now, somebody who don't know what I'm doing that will affect them later down the line. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say you're going to have to go back and look and see these records, because again, that has no place. That has no place amongst, again, because of the condition that we are in. And you see that the black children, parents and them didn't even get involved, because again, it's like the same old song, same old suit, reheated. They go through it so much to the fact that again, nothing would be done. But because she got a white mama, it ended up hitting the news, right? So, reprimanding, asking somebody to be fired. Oh yeah, those are all good things. But again, the psychosis, right? We had the other day where a teacher decided to take some fifth graders and reenact slavery. Came out the blue nowhere. All the black kids get up and go in the hallway. And then I'm telling you about the white kids when they come back in here. We're going to do an auction and you're going to buy them. And the kids didn't even have no idea about it. They went through this whole thing, and it was just so detriment to them that they went home and told their parents. But again, the damage was already done. Whether you fire the teacher or not, the damage is already done. See? And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Now, again, if you white or you over here, again, you got to understand. When we talk like this, this is not just to say the fact that we just sitting here trying to belittle somebody. The fact is here. The evidence is here. If somebody was just talking and you had nothing to say and just making up a story, and you was like, oh, okay, but see, now you get to see it. That's how good the creator is when he came with these cameras, right? This is what YouTube, unbeknownst to it, became. Is a venue for us to now to be able to show, look, y'all, look. Because again, you live where you live. You only see what you see here. You live here. But if somebody like myself gathers it up and brings it and presents it to you, you kind of get to see a little bit more than just your local. You understand? So anyway, that is what it is, right? So let's move on to the next one. So again, we hear this thing about this school, right? Now again, targeting young black men. Because why? The reason why they went and made sure that white extinction had to get off of here. Because white extinction laid it out for you. Talked about why you need the black woman. Because again, if the white woman is having problems having procreation, and she had to take shots and all this other stuff, and then they had to artificially inseminate. That's a process. It becomes very expensive. It means that the lower whites can't afford that. So what is your what is your alternative? The black woman, right? You go to the black woman because you know the black woman is fertile, right? Black people don't have problem having children. People pretty much of melanin don't have problem with having children. Now, that's no knock against white people, but it's just what it is, right? And so if you are trying to have, this is where the mixture of the biracial is coming in. And then what is forecast for the future according to your statistics, not what Mr. Blows Your Mind said. What your statistics say, what is coming down the line is that by a certain period of time, at a certain time in 2040 something, 2050, your status becoming majority minority comes down, and then psychologically you have a problem because again you think Baba Yaga's coming to get your ass, and Baba Yaga's too fucked up psychologically to even be thinking about that. But because of your guilt, of which y'all know, this is why you think that shit, right? Let's just be honest about it. Let's just be honest, right? So you have to target the factory that is producing, so that again it's seem like everybody is reading some kind of, let's say a memorandum has been given that everybody else don't know. And when I constantly do this, you keep seeing the theme. I don't know whether you pick up on it or not, but it's always there. So we see children at school, certain things, telling kids, this, and then check this out. Okay, let's go ahead. I ain't gonna talk about what we're gonna be about, I ain't gonna tell what I heard. I'm sure what I know.
You are scammed. She's tackling every opportunity to make something that's going wrong right. Better call Bingo.
A St. Petersburg student was tased in the lunchroom of Johns Hopkins Middle School in St. Pete. The boy's mom says she was told he charged at the school resource officer, but a cell phone video taken by another student appears to capture something else. There is surveillance video of the whole incident, but the school refuses to let the mother see it. So that's when she knew she'd better call Bankin. 8 on your side investigator Shannon Bankin joins me now. It's frustrating when you know there's video that exists, but you can't get your hands on it.
That's right, and it's unclear what led up to the disturbing video that you're about to see, and that's exactly why this mother believes it's her right to see this in context.
My son, one take, 2 takes, straight to the ground.
This cell phone video shows the moment a school resource officer tased Lakeisha Aiken's 8th grade son in the Johns Hopkins Middle School cafeteria. Moments before this, chaos. A student films as 2 girls fight. Then she hears the pop of the taser, and then films as there's another pop as Aiken's son goes down.
My son could have died. The way he hit the floor, I thought, baby, wow.
She's disturbed that her son appears to be standing still right before he's tased. It's a different story than the one she says she heard from resource officer Bobby Johnson.
He said he charged at him. And I'm like, he charged at you. But you have no other restraint for a 15-year-old. You're a police officer. That doesn't even make sense. He said, so why did you tase him? His answer was, I want to go home to my family at night.
She's told cafeteria surveillance video captures whatever led this officer to tase her son. But Pinellas County Schools won't release it, telling me it would put other students' privacy at risk.
Because I want to know how it started, from the beginning to the end.
So there's the fight, there's the officer.
I took the video we can see to St. Petersburg spokeswoman Yolanda Fernandez.
I think what leads up to that first time is what's most important, because for an officer to feel like he needs to rise to a use of force, to deploy his taser, means that he either felt threatened or he felt like he had to get the situation under control very quickly.
Fernandez explains that an officer has precious time to make a decision.
He has the option of either using his CS spray, or he might use that's pepper spray, or he might use a taser, and then in the last resort, of course, would be a weapon, a gun.
As for Aikens, she just wants to see the full video so she can judge for herself if tasing a middle school student was necessary.
I don't like it. I don't like it, and I'm just going to get to the bottom of it.
There's been 3 tasing incidents in Pinellas County schools so far this year. All 3 were at Johns Hopkins Middle School. In this case, Ms. Aikens just wants to see the surveillance video because the only video she can see is extremely disturbing.
But they have cited to you privacy concerns about revealing other students' faces and all of that, but how do other schools deal with this when a parent wants to see the video? I mean, it doesn't seem like that outrageous a request on her part.
And she just wants to come in and see the video for herself, and I called around. Other districts tell me that when a disciplinary action is in question, they do allow the parents to come in and view the video. If other students' faces are visible, they tell me they simply blur them out so that they won't be seen.
Which is exactly what we did. There are portions of the video that we blurred out. It's very easy to do that so you don't see other students' faces.
That's right. If we can blur it, they can blur it, and she just wants to see the full video to know what her son did.
Get the whole story.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. If you have a problem that needs solving, better call Bankin. The number is 1-855-BANKIN.
All right. News article says this here. You know, I'm going to get our news article that goes with it. It says, video, mom outrage after cop used taser on 8th grader. You know I'm going to say that again. Video, mom outrage after cop uses taser on 8th grade. This story's come out of the News 8 channel. Looks like this story was actually done on May the 31st, 2019. Coming from St. Petersburg, Florida. A disturbing cell phone video shows the moment a St. Pete police officer used his taser to bring down the 8th grader while his classmates watched in the Johns Hopkins Middle School cafeteria. The boy's mother, Lakeisha Atkins, is livid and questioned why the officer used such force. Another student captured cell phone video showing Atkins' son, who appears to be standing still, being tased and falling to the ground. The video also captured the sound of Officer Bobby Johnson's taser when it was fired. Johnson discharged the taser a second time, but it's unclear if the leads took. My son could have died, Atkins said. The way he hit the ground, I was like, whoa. Atkins said the officer told her that her son charged at him after he threatened school administrators and that he had no choice but to use his taser. Another video may show what led up to the incident, but Pinellas County School won't release it. Atkins was told that surveillance video in the cafeteria shows more than what was recorded on cell phone. In a statement, the district spokesperson, or woman, told Better Call Beckons that school policy prohibits them from showing the video to the boy's mother, and the officer is not an employee of Pinellas County School. Pinellas County School does not release videos taken on campus to parents, as it can violate student privacy laws and or reveal confidential and exempt safety and security information. The school resources office who deployed his taser is not an employee of Pinellas County School. It would be up to the St. Petersburg Police Department to determine if his actions were appropriate. Pinellas County School staff will work with St. Petersburg Police Department as they review the incident. St. Petersburg Police Department spokeswoman Yolanda Fernandez said the incident was reviewed by the officer's superiors. She added that the video was hard to watch, but it is out of context. I think what led up to the first time that most important because of an officer to feel that he needs to rise to a use of force to deploy his taser means that he has either felt threatened or felt he needed to get the situation under control very quickly, Fernandez said. During the school year, police said there had been 3 incidents involving a taser at school where the officers worked as resource officers. Now, everybody got a chance, and if you really didn't get a chance, you have to go back and watch it again if you didn't. But if you've seen the video, what we've seen, again, because children have access to cell phones, and when incidents happen, people are quick to pull out, which is a good thing. Now, I don't mean that everything needs to be recorded, but sometimes recording can be exactly what is needed. And without that recording that had taken place in that cafeteria by one of the students, we would not be able to see what transpired here, right? As we look, according to, again, we as black men, and black women are not excluding you, but black men know this. When we have been accosted and dealt with police in situations where we have not done anything and caught cases where we've been lied on, we know that they can fabricate their so-called report, right? So, again, they're more credible because, again, they're supposed to be taking pledges, have badge, and uphold the Constitution, and all this other good stuff. But that don't mean that people won't lie. right? Again, as we talked about the teacher prior before, talking about the psychosis of individuals, some people just have certain things that they come again what they call luggage, baggage. When they come in, they bring it along with them. So here's the individual that is now considered himself to be what we call security of the school. Now, again, being in school, again, we all been there. We've been rambunctious and loud and obnoxious, and that's what kids do. Middle high school, 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, talking about 12 to 13, 12 to 14, 11, could be 11, could be 11 to 14, right? All right, so we know, this is, sometimes want to test you a little bit. I get it. Now, that might be justifiable if we could see what you said. But we didn't see what you said. What we seen is the young man standing there, and as you got what looks to him, he didn't know whether the gun or a taser, he's paused. And the distance between him and you is very considerable. Matter of fact, I think that they talk about it had to be 6 feet. I think it was a little bit way more than 6 feet. Right? What you think? Right? And to say that he's, attacking you, rushing you, kind of sound like we heard that over in St. Louis, right? He bulked up and he started rushing me and he was going through the bullets, huh? This Marvel way of looking at shit, comic book shit, huh? Michael Brown was going through bullets and I'm shooting him, he's going through bullets, huh? You have to embellish your story because, again, the so-called fairy tales and fables of history, you talk about how black people, yes, we are super and we human because, again, we deal with a lot of the nonsense that we have to deal with you on a daily basis, right? We deal with your stuff on a daily basis. That's what makes us super. That's what makes us the incredible because we deal with your stuff. But then when you cussing with us, you have to fabricate. You have to lie to justify what you're doing. It was obvious. Again, the truth don't need no partner. Young man sat there. He even taking a step back. He stopped. Like, wait a minute, this mother, you know what I'm saying? He black. He living he coming out of the hood somewhere. He know what that mean. White man, handgun. He know what that mean. He gonna rush you? No, he didn't rush you. You was itching for a scratch. Again, I think everybody just want to be able to have when they get together. Hey, I tased a nigger. Yeah, I done shot a nigger. Huh? Yeah, everybody want to have that when they come to have their little get together. They all want to say that. Because a lot of these stories, like when you finally see what it is, ain't no justification. But they say, well, he's not an employee of the school. So it ain't like we can fire and hire him because, again, police are the ones that, they will recommend and have people here who's supposed to be certified and so forth. So he's there and that would be the police. So we already know what they're going to be, don't we? We already know what you're going to end up trying to determine that is. He's 13, rambunctious, kind of big for his age. I fear for my life. I want to go home to my wife. Damn. A kid at school with no gun, nothing, still make a grown-ass man talking about he feared to get home, and this boy ain't nowhere close to even in the proximity of his square. What is it about you? What is it about you that makes him so fearful? Is it your guilt? Or is it really what we're doing to you? And we're not doing anything. Again, we will self-actualize against each other before we would even look at you. People will be tough and gangster against their own before they would even look at you. And you know this. You see the sickness on the daily basis, but you still try to say, they're attacking me. All right. All right, it is what it is, right? Is what it is. So I got a message out here from Metasima Palacos. What's it? Metasima Locals. Sorry, brothers, if I'm messing up your name. Use of force is presence, verbal commands, empty hand technique, primary weapons, deadly weapons, period. Metasima Palacos. My brother there. I see there. Who's wrong? What do you mean wrong? He wrong. He's wrong. We know he ain't wrong. We know that. In that order, huh? You say in that order. Exactly, right? That's how it is, man. People want to act as the same way that, again, justification, man. Justify your shit. That's all we saying. If I'm out of pocket and you need to correct me, then correct me. Don't create no scenario just because you've been itching to use this taser. And this would be good because, again, the area that where you're employed at is all little kids. So how threatened could you be? How many guns have you taken? And matter of fact, in the story talked about, there have been 3 incidents. This is the 3rd incident in the school that you done tased kids. Now, let's go back a minute. Let's rewind a little bit. Remember when the President Donald Trump said, let the teachers have guns. So let's just say it ain't taser, it's gun. How many kids would be shot in school by administrators or so-called security if you gave them guns and allowed them to be able to shoot kids? How many kids would be dead right now? Something to think about. Chew on that fat for a minute, right? Chew on that fat. So, let's go ahead and get to the next part here, right? So, you know, I know a lot of the youth in here, so this gonna be good for you, brother. Check this out. You know, we, again, you hear me say it a lot of time. A lot of us, we identify as this, right? That's how we look at it. We black, right? Now, you know, some of my Moorish brothers in here, well, you know, black is not, you know, it's not an ethnic. It's not. Well, let me play this first, and I'll talk about that. But check this out. This story came out, and check this out. Let me just in case somebody sit up in here. You know, I got to ask you for a little something. I'm gonna do one. I'm not gonna do two. Check this out. I'll be right back, y'all.
Describing racial or ethnic groups, most writing guidelines require capitalization for words like Asian or African American. However, many don't require it for the words black or white.
As 7 Action News reporter Simon Chowdhury explains, Detroit Metro Times announced a new style guideline when it comes to capitalizing the B in black.
In this week's Metro Times, the editor says they will start capitalizing the word black when describing African Americans. He explains why on page 10 and to us.
Black with a capital B makes sense.
That's the decision Lee DeVito made after talking to the Detroit Metro Times staff. Some of the writers were capitalizing the B in black when describing African Americans, but he was changing it back to lowercase in line with the Associated Press guidelines, which is what many media organizations follow.
The idea is that this is the group of people that this person identifies with, belongs to.
Imani Mixon is one of the writers who capitalizes the B. She explained to Lee that there's a movement to identify the term black as an ethnic group.
Even if it does feel weird, even if it's something that sort of is not what we learned in journalism school, or even when you're learning how to write an English paper, I think it's something that's worth revisiting.
Lee says some of the staff members disagreed.
Some people felt like it was a color. It's not an ethnic group.
So why not stick with the term African American?
A lot of people that I know that identify as black identify just as that. I've never called myself an African American in real life unless I'm like checking off a box.
We showed Imani some of the viewer feedback on Facebook from those disagreeing with the move or saying they should also capitalize the W in white.
Nobody said other things can't exist because blackness exists, but if it is here, let's capitalize it and talk about it.
Lee is confident he made the right call.
I wanted people to, especially the black community, to feel like I was listening.
And the editor says there will be a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to this new guideline, but Imani says she hopes other media outlets follow suit. In Detroit, I'm Simon Chowdhury for 7 Action News.
Metro Times to capitalize B in black when using it for race. You know I'm going to say that again. Metro Times to capitalize B in black when using it for race. This story is coming out of WXYZ Detroit. Looks like it's June the 5th, 2019, and this is how it reads. When describing racial or ethnic groups, most writing guidelines require capitalization, like for the word Asian or African American. However, many don't require it for the word black or white. When describing a group of people, Detroit Metro Times announced a new style guidelines when it comes to capitalizing the B in black. Black with a capital B makes sense. What the decision Lee DeVito made after talking to the Detroit Metro Times staff, some of the writers were capitalizing it when describing African Americans, but he was changing it back to lowercase, in line with the Associated Press guidelines, which is what many media organizations follow. It's more work to delete this. Maybe I should try to learn why. DeVito says Imani Mixon is one of the writers who capitalized the B. The ideal is that this is the group of people that has or that this person identifies with belongs to, she says. She explains to DeVito that there is a movement to identify the term black as an ethnic group, even if it does feel weird, if it's something that sort of is not what we learned in journalism school or even when you're learning how to write an English paper. I think it's something worth revisiting. She explained, DeVito says some of the staff members disagree. Some people felt like it was a color. It's not an ethnic group, he said. It's a fluid thing. I don't think we can just view ethnic groups as the static thing that remains fixed. Why not stick with the term African American? A lot of people that I know identify as black identify just as that. I never call myself an African American in real life unless I'm checking off a box, Mixon explained. We showed her some of the viewers' feedback on Facebook from those disagreeing with the move or saying that they should also capitalize the W in the word white. She responded with, nobody says other things that can't exist because blackness exists. But if it is here, let's capitalize it and talk about it. DeVito is confident he made the right call. He added, I wanted people to, especially the black community, to feel like I was listening. Mixon hopes other media organizations follow suit. All right. So it looks like they want to now start using the capital B as a representation of we as black Americans in this land that we call the United States. Now, again, depending on what school of thought that you come from, we get it. Again, Moors will say that black, again, as you heard, that was displayed in the video as well as in the article, that black is representative of a color. It's not really considered an ethnic group, but because of what has, gone historically, certain terms have came out. Some things we just haven't been agreeing to. We as the people, I think we believe, no, I don't believe, we know we get to identify who we want to identify ourselves. It's not because this individual here, again, this journalism and the way that they teach, it has nothing to do with that. Now, when you say African American, I don't see that being no different than saying black. What is an African American? What is that? Really, what is that? Right? So if you say black is a color, then what is an African American? We hear people who got dual citizenship. So either we are this or we are that. We can't be both. Either we one or the other, right? And I know everybody gonna say we are the first part. We're the Africans of that. We were once Africans. We have been here too many generations now, and we have planted roots and soils in this land here. And it's not to say that we don't have a kinship. And we, again, I'm going to always say that over here. We have a kinship and affinity with African and with Africans. But that's why we use the term black, because that makes us to be distinguished because of the history that we have gone through in this land. That's why we use the term black, to self-actualize our own self, to begin, because when you say African American, that could be anybody from anywhere as long as they come from or roots of Africa. So what about these people who are the blood, sweat, soil of this land? They want to be self-identified. Don't mean we're separate and we're not collective of one. But being here and all the benefits everybody else get, you need a category for us. Right? We need to be self-identified. Because see, when we play everybody is black, everybody benefit, except that somehow the system figures out a way to still make sure that you as black Americans don't get. But everybody else who be under the umbrella of African Americans seem to be getting, but you as black Americans don't seem to get. But yet when they do statistics, they include you and them as one. And then we be like, but damn, we ain't getting none of this shit. Right? So is it politically correct? Is it grammatically correct? It don't matter. It don't even really matter. It's what we decide, that we determine what we want to call ourselves. Now, can we change black and it become an ethnicity? Can that happen? Because you say it's a color. Well, then why the hell did you call it a color? You use the term when you report black. You use black. And then, see, you can't. Now, did y'all check this part out? Did you see how, again, every time when you trying to make something for yourself that can identify you by your own, like Black Lives Matter? Oh, no. All lives matter. White lives matter. Blue lives matter. We can't have shit, right? So now, when we say black, no. We white. We want our white to be capitalized too. Ah, damn, man. Damn. We can't have nothing of our own. That's selfishness. You don't take, just run them pockets, run them shoes, run that shirt, take them drawers off, They want everything. Give me that gum out your mouth. Give me that gold out your damn mouth. Give me them earrings. Give me the hair. What? They want and this shit when you're dead. Give me them body parts. Give me them eyes. Give me that heart. You understand? Like a damn pig rooting to the tootin'. Want it all. You gets nothing. And yet we ain't supposed to talk about none of this. None of this. So it's up to you. Do you decide that you want to call yourself black? Do you got a problem with them capitalizing on the letter B to identify you as a black American? Will you have a problem with it? I'm pretty sure you probably wouldn't have a problem with it. Yes, it might be identifying the color. But what came first? It's like the chicken or the egg. Did we come before the word color? Did we come before the word black? So did black, again, when they say Egypt and say Kemet, talking about the black land? Oh, no, they're not talking about the people. They talk about the soil. They're not talking about the people. Huh? Can't have nothing. Oh, no. We're gonna Negus was king. Oh, no. Negroes. That's not king. Negro. Can't have nothing. Keep that in mind. All right. So let's just show. See, when you're black, right? Like we say, this is why we say we black in this land. Let me show you something here, right? Let me show you something here. Let me see. Where'd that go? That one here. Okay, check this out. Play this for you right quick, and we shall be right back. See, this is the sum total when you, again, as I told you, there's a book called The Golden Stool. If you could find that book, old book, missionary book, where they was in there missionizing, converting them and making them change. And the missionaries would write stuff about, what they, and they would say, well, the black person would not become acceptable to white people until the black person become a black white person. Let me say that again. Black person will not be acceptable by white people until you become a black white person. So anybody who tries to maintain their blackness is going to be ostracized, going to be out of the loop and out of the system of what they created. And this is why you see what you see here. And just hold on 1 second and you'll see this and be right back. Check this out, y'all.
Well, Pat, if you want to know what it's like to live in a city with far too many rats and too much garbage, talk to the people who are living closest to them, the homeless. Members of the homeless community like Darlene Gray.
That's our shower right there.
Tarps strung to a scavenged metal framework that looks like a jail provides a little privacy for taking a shower. But Darlene Gray tells us there are no toilets here along Lemon Street in downtown Los Angeles. She's a nurse who's fallen on hard times. So do you think that you or members of the homeless community get blamed for things that you're not doing?
Yes, we do. A lot.
Darlene says she often sees trucks come by and dump garbage in the street. Does it make it unhealthy for you?
Yes, especially when they come and dump their fruit right there. You gotta smell it.
Then she says the rotting produce attracts rats.
And they smell food, they're gonna attack you.
Across the street, city work crews clean up trash and weeds. Before the day is over, city crews will clean up between 20 and 50 tons of garbage every day from the streets of Los Angeles. Where does it come from? Some of it, to be sure, is generated by the thousands of homeless who live here, but they aren't the only ones. We spoke to members of the homeless community today who told us they see people coming in trucks and dumping stuff all the time.
That is correct. Those are what our reports show.
Gonzalo Barriga is a compliance officer who oversees enforcement of illegal dumping in the city.
There are some streets where it is extremely bad. From one day to the next, we may have cleaned at 9 a.m. and the very next morning we could see a pile of tires, a pile of construction debris.
Today, Mayor Eric Garcetti had this to say about rats and garbage on city streets.
Most of the things we saw on the news recently were from illegal dumping, not from homeless folks. So it's also important not to blame folks that are living on the streets for everything that we see. People should not dump illegally. We see that downtown, and we're going to prosecute you and go after you if we find you.
What would you want to tell the mayor of the city right now?
Well, he's doing all he can. He can't do no more than he can. So he's doing his best.
I asked Darlene Gray how long she's lived in the street.
Too long.
She says she hopes the city will bring a portable toilet down here. That, she says, would make life a whole lot better. And after she walked away, she came back to me and handed me this DVD. It's an old Roy Rogers DVD. I told her, no, keep it. She said, no, you go ahead and take it. I don't have anything to watch it on.
Los Angeles County homeless population rises 12% to nearly 60,000. You know I'm going to say that again. Los Angeles County homeless population rises 12% to nearly 60,000. This story is coming out of USA Today, June the 4th, 2019, and this is how it reads. Los Angeles. Despite spending millions on housing and one of the strongest economies in decades, the number of homeless people in the nation most populous county showed a dramatic increase in a new official count released Tuesday. Los Angeles County homeless count rose 12% to 58,936, a reversal from the previous year when the numbers dropped by 4%, though voters approved two massive bond measures to build more units as thousands live on city streets in tents, cars, or in the open. Officials say higher rents and a tight housing market are forcing more into homelessness. These numbers are very disappointing, very troubling, very sad, said Janice Hahn, chair of the County Board of Supervisors. In light of the reversal, we need to give the public answers on how we are going to get the chronically homeless off the streets. The city of Los Angeles alone saw a 16% increase to 36,300 after a 6% decrease in last year's count. People are falling into homelessness at a faster clip, said Peter Lynn, executive director of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. Lynn said county homeless numbers were actually better than those being reported statewide. It's up 35% statewide compared to 7% for Los Angeles County over 2 years, he said. He cited the difference as proof that housing availability is increasing and starting to have an impact. Yet his agency says the state is short more than 500,000 affordable housing units for low-income renters based on California Housing Partnership Corp study. We saw a broad strengthening of the economy, but in ways that left a lot of people behind, said Chris Cole, director of homeless initiatives for United Ways of Los Angeles. The higher counts come as both the city and the larger metropolitan area are trying to cope with homeless people camping on sidewalks, often surrounded by bicycle parks, abandoned furniture, and piles of debris. Once confined to a downtown area known for decades as Skid Row, homeless campers have now fanned out across the city and voiding by court orders that prevent police from removing them unless shelter space is available. In the county, there were 14,722 living in shelters compared to 44,214 considered unsheltered. Lately, homelessness has become a bigger issue in Los Angeles because of public health concerns, including typhus outbreak. Dump food has created a feast for rats, and a lack of toilet has made defecation and urination on alleyways, streets, and sidewalks more common, creating a major health concern. All right, so we see that homelessness is rising the way it is there in California, and it seems like the biggest holders of that seem to be our people, right? Black Americans, right? Due to what we know that's transpiring or going on in California, especially in the Sacramento area, you see that Google and that whole, what is that whole area they call that area over there? You know what I'm talking about. That whole area over there, they're expanding that, right? So they said a lot of the housing market, the prices is going up because, again, they're getting a lot of people coming there to this little city. They making this little computerized city that's going to all work for Google and the whole thing. It'll come to me, though, but you know what I'm talking about. So what's happening is that you have people who, again, been in California long periods of time. Again, according to history, black people are the one who really founded and established California, right? They will tell you that Hispanics or Mexicans have been in that area too as well. And we see that they're migrating back in there, and a lot of blacks are being pushed out. I think I did some earlier shows where it talked about there's this rift going between blacks and Hispanics, and they're getting things, and black people getting pushed out. And again, I didn't even touch the thing when it talked about, what was the name? Ermias, you know what I'm talking about, Nipsey Hussle, right? And remember, he was trying to get people in California to try to maintain and keep their home because, again, they're building the stadiums, right? And so we don't know what all this transpired. We hear what's being heard. Again, I remember I wasn't going to touch that, but I'm just saying that was some part of the scenario, right? Which is trying to make black people maintain and hold out and not trying to allow them to do. And then you're going to use eminent domain. But again, so trying to get black people to do a steadfastness could be intervening in business, and, one thing leads to another. So, how do you eradicate the homelessness? Well, one thing y'all can do, reparations. A lot of them probably are going to be descendants of the people that, again, BADOS, ADOS. It's how you can eradicate a lot of this stuff that's dealing with our people. Reparations. See, everybody don't want to say, well, don't get it. It ain't about just giving no money. Look, give us the bag. All that stuff you can work out. Right? All you're going to do is spend the money to get the Cadillac. We don't own nothing, no goddamn way. Where else we going? Shit, did you see that the other day that Tracy Morgan spent $2 million on a Bugatti? Did he have a black dealership where he could have, even if he bought out a black dealership, it still was going, Bugatti was getting the money, right? So all this stuff, even if you black owned, and it's a network of all black owned, all your products and stuff, is that all black? Is his hand involved in some of that? Stop that nonsense, man. Everybody like talking that stuff. Man, wait a minute. You ain't got army to go to no country, hold that country, and hold that resource by gun. So all that being done with that, somehow, wherever you dealing in, whatever kind of business you in, his hand in there. Right? So give us we want the bag. Bag will help eradicate a lot of stuff, because a lot of our problems is due to the simple fact, again, poverty has nothing to do with economics and income. So, but everybody say, well, what about, eradicate? Man, they not going to make you whole 100. What you going to do is blow them up. Well, once you get the money and you do what you need to do, and if you don't maintain for that coming behind you, then they going to put your picture up and talk shit about you for the rest of the generation. You understand? That you fucked the money up. You didn't do this and you did this and then. That'll fall on them. But that's not your concern. Right? They're like, all they're going to do is buy Jordans. They ain't going to do nothing, blow up. Wait a minute. If a motherfucker had a job, right? If a motherfucker had a job and worked and did the same shit, would you still complain? Would you still complain? Would you say, oh, all you do is get your money and blow it off and trick it off and all? What you work for? What the hell do you matter? Doesn't matter to you. See? Because somebody don't really want you to have shit. Because I already told you already, democracy got to have an element of poor people in order for it to thrive. Capitalism got to have that. Because why? Look at the jobs that's being created because of them being out there. Department of Sanitation was going out there, got to clean, right? And do all these kinds of things. And then the thing is, it's kind of like history. It's kind of like when you look at that Black Plague that happened up in Europe. And somebody came with the grandiose idea. I don't think it was by chance, y'all. I think somebody was trying to wipe somebody's ass off. You know, like you try to get the tissue and try to wipe. I think somebody was trying to wipe somebody's ass off and came with a grandiose idea, put rats on their ass. Rats, and they bring disease and this, and they ain't immune, and they will be, and it tore ass off, right? Tore ass off. So somebody's saying, what are you going to do about this big population? Again, I just read the article that told you that the population done grown to 60,000. 60,000 people on the streets. So you think by looking again, the area Skid Row and looking at the conditions of it, by being downtown California, you think that the least they would do is keep that area pretty much clean as much as possible. So they make you give the appearance that it's them. Yes, the condition, they're going to have to urinate and defecate where they can. Because, you know, mothers ain't allowing you to go up in their bathroom. The hardest thing when you homeless is trying to wash your ass. I'm going to say that again. The hardest thing for a person who's homeless is to wash their ass. Right? Everything else you might be able to suffice them, but to be able to get some water somewhere to wash soap water and wash your ass, because ain't nobody going to let you go in their bathrooms, and the way they got it these days, you got to go in there, ask the motherfucker, he look at you, he come with some comment, we don't have no bathroom, bro, all kind of shit, right? So you SOL, you out shit out of luck is what they say, shit out of luck, right? So how you remedy that shit is by, you know, cutting off that allotment check. That'll do a lot of that. But that ain't what you're trying to do. So what you did, somebody did, unbeknownst, everybody gonna try to act like nobody knows, that somebody just gonna take their truck, spit out the garbage and fruit, which is going to cause the rats to come, and somehow, hopefully somebody gets caught up in the whip of that and start dying off, getting sick, and it spread and kill you all off. Maybe that's what that was. So now if we should figure out who you is, we gonna now come after you. Wait a minute, with all that camera and that technology, that surveillance down there, y'all can't figure that out? Okay, whatever, right? Moving on. All right, I guess mother can't take it no more to get up out of here. I get it, it's all good. It's all good. It ain't meant for everybody, you understand? It ain't made for everybody. All right, so what else I got in here? All right, let's see, I got a couple more up in here. Where I'm at? I'm trying not to even do, I'm at 118, all right. Let's see, who else I got? Anybody in the house? Any fam in the house? Let me see if any fam in the house. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? No, it's kind of early morning, but got to go do what they got to do. So that's why I get it off now so you can come back later on and check it out. Now, what I got here for you here? Okay. I ain't going to do it. See, do I want to do that one? I got a couple more stories. All right, check this out. As we say, homeless has something to do with economics and employment and so forth. So check this out. Here's a story I found today. Check this out. Be right back. Check this out.
This morning, fallout over a teenage girl looking for work apparently denied a job because of the color of her skin.
Kathy Hernandez is following the story for us this morning. Kathy's live now. Will the manager involved be back at work? Here, Kathy.
Well, good morning. Because of that alleged racial remark, that manager will not return here to this subway in spring.
So it cut me deep, and then when I looked at the bigger picture, it cut me even deeper, because it's like, okay, like, people are seeing this, like, how many people have she has she done this to?
Caitlin Simmons was looking for a summer job at this Subway on Champion Forest Drive. She applied Sunday, but later received a disturbing text from a friend who works there. The manager allegedly asked the employee what Simmons looks like, so she responded Simmons was black. The manager then said, quote, "Oh, no thanks. I don't want those people in our store." LOL.
I've taught my daughters to work hard, and that's what they do. And for someone to reject my daughter for a reason like that, it frustrated me.
Mother Tamika Simmons posted it on social media, and it got the attention of thousands, including Subway. In a statement, the company says in part, the manager of this location was immediately terminated for her actions. The franchise owner has reached out to the young woman who applied for the position to apologize and encourage her to consider reapplying.
What if someone needed that job more than I did and she shot them down just because she didn't like the color of their skin? Like that hurts me when you look at the bigger picture.
And Caitlin does not plan to reapply here at this Subway. The family also believes there should be diversity training. Reporting live in Spring, Kathy Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Again, summertime. It's time when you get out of school, spring break or summer break. You trying to, those who have that mindset to be, workers trying to, buy their own. They try to get a little job, right? Those jobs, again, going back in time, Burger King, McDonald's, Subway, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Those jobs was primarily for high schoolers. That's when you go work. They work, they would work long enough so they can go get this outfit or these shoes or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're keeping them or whatever. I mean, a lot of people had so many jobs because they were only doing it for whatever purpose. But that's what they was for. But, over the years, by me being, working and employed and going and just learning, just, again, having life experience, you come to find out there's a lot of ways that a lot of these places be discriminating for employment, hiring people. I remember some books I had read some while back. Again, it was kind of disclosing the fact that a lot of times when you go on back in the day, not today where it's more like you could do electronic, which again, I don't even trust that. How do you know somebody even seeing it, right? How do you know somebody's actually seeing it? Otherwise, you're pestering them by calling them to make sure that your name, you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing. But at least then you had a physical. But see, a lot of times what happened is you give somebody the damn application, and what they did is they would throw the motherfucker in the garbage can, right? Take your hand when you walk out, they throw it in the garbage can. Or they would take, they'll say there's a letter O on your application. They'll take a pen, and if you're black, they fill in that O. Something simple like that. You didn't even know they would do something like that. That's how they would do. They would hide that, right? So a little self-identifying marks, they would let this person black, right? Now, if you had one of them names that just kind of went, that you couldn't really tell, you get the interview. Then, oh, God, shit, it's fucking black, right? But then, charisma, swag, and understand, how you got the gift of gab, you going to get the job, right? You're amazed, wild, oh, shit, I like this guy, right? But here was the sister went into the Subway, did it. Again, if she didn't have an insider, because again, it ain't about what you know, it's about who you know these days, right? It ain't about what you know. You can have all the degrees you want, still can't get a job. It's about having somebody inside. And because she had somebody inside that was trying to recommend her, and then not knowing that when he was writing, he was telegraphing himself, and voila, look what he said. And now they know. And now you ain't got no job. Now you the one denying somebody a job. Now you looking for a job. See I don't create work at times, right? So that's how it be, right? But again, this whole thing about skin, and again, got problems with black people. What black people did to you? Just being around you makes you uncomfortable. Why? Now again, there is good and bad in all people. But primarily somebody who's trying to be employed ain't trying to be in there. And even some people like that still trying to get a job. Now, we're not seeing in places where, you see some of these videos, motherfucker act up, motherfucker show his ass and start fighting your ass and hitting your ass with the fry grill and everything. You know what I'm saying? They say we can take motherfucker up out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. You'll see it, right? So it happens, right? But that ain't got nothing to do with the reason why you are being discriminative against people just because of the way they look and their color. It's something internal within you. It is this thing that y'all keep perpetuating in your mind that's something like Baba Yaga. It's not Baba Yaga, it's you. That's why Dracula can't look at himself in the mirror, because he don't have no reflection. And that's why shows like Black Minds News got to keep showing you who you look like. Moving on. So, that's so on here. All right, so let's again, like I said, you know, there's all kinds of little discriminative ways people hide when they doing. Hold on, don't do that yet. Hold on. Go back, Speedy. Don't try to run. Going through a red light. So just in case somebody should be sitting up in here, you know, I got to give me. Let me hold something, right? Let me play this one this time, right? Let's try this one this time. This, and then we'll come back. I got another little story for you behind that. So check this out. I'll be right back, y'all. Check it out. Hold on. There we go. Y'all up in here messing with my stuff, huh? You're mad at me, huh? It's all right. It's all right.
Developing this morning, fallout over a teenage girl looking for work apparently denied a job because of the color of her skin.
Kathy Hernandez is following the story for us this morning. Kathy's live now. Will the manager involved be back at work? Here, Kathy.
Funny is that was a story we just did before. I don't know how I went back there, but again, there'll be some magic in the background be happening. Let me go ahead and give you the real story that you should have been seeing, right? Hold on, I'm at the wrong one. Hold on, I'm at the wrong one on that one. Let me make sure I get the right one here, because that was the wrong one there, right? No, this is the one that should have been right here. Here we go, y'all. Check it out real good. Here we go.
In tonight's Commonwealth Capital Connection, health officials say twice as many black women are dying in Virginia while pregnant or after childbirth compared to white women. In an effort to make sure moms live to see their newborn's first birthday, Governor Ralph Northam wants to reduce these deaths by 2025.
Our Capitol Bureau reporter Sharon McCluskey explains how some new laws could make a big difference.
I've even had fathers that will say, I'm afraid for my partner, I'm afraid for my child.
8,000 families in Virginia get care through Urban Baby Beginnings. At home, doulas and nurse midwives meet with pregnant women and new moms, some dealing with prenatal or postpartum anxiety.
This legislation gives us the opportunity to say, you know what, our moms matter.
It does take a village. We are all in this together.
Governor Ralph Northam leading a village today to make sure moms and growing families get the support they need. He wants to bring down the rising rates of maternal mortality, especially for black women who are dying at a rate 2 times higher than white women, according to the Virginia Department of Health.
There are significant racial disparities in the rates, causes of death.
To do that, he signed 2 bills into law with a little help from 18-month-old Joshua Barber. One requires health providers to give expecting and new moms information about anxiety they may face.
Postpartum anxiety actually happens at a higher rate, yet there's no requirement to inform pregnant women and new mothers and their families about that.
Another new law will strengthen the maternal mortality review team, requiring them to share a report with the governor and General Assembly about what caused new moms to die. This will give the team more resources and better protect patient information.
And we need to know what is happening, what happened, and how we can fix it so that the next family never has to go through that.
In Richmond, Sarah McCluskey, WFXR News.
Thank you for that, Sarah. Now, the hope is that this data collected here in the Commonwealth will help new moms live to see their children grow up.
All right, so black women are dying more than white women when having babies in Virginia. Then you see who they had signing the bill? The motherfucker that had the Ku Klux Klan in the blackface. Remember him? Northam? Huh? Y'all got that smirk when he talk, right? Right? But somehow, mysteriously, black women who coming in there having babies is dying. Again, let's look at what we've been laying out so far, right? Go to school, kid go to school, teacher tell you, look at have you picking cotton. Security guard will tase this kid out of an 8th grader. Right? Huh? Then, homeless people is rising over here. Black people, the homeless rates are rising to 60,000 in California. Right? Right? And now black women having babies is just dying mysteriously that we don't know why. 3 going in. When I say 3, I mean the daddy, mama, and the baby trying to be born. But a lot of times, it's only going to 2 come out. Either mama going to die or the baby going to die. Primarily, again, remember, I done did a story where, remember, the one brother had to make the choice. He was like, the wife, the complications that was happening, well, matter of fact, wasn't even a complication. She had the baby. Oh, no, what it was, she was bleeding. And it took them 10 hours after he kept going to the front. Hey, man, there's blood in her catheter, man. There's blood coming. Oh, all right, we'll get to it. Yeah, just anxious. And she ended up, and the choice was because of her hemorrhaging, the baby or her. He had to make the decision, the baby over his wife. And obviously this is becoming a silent war or a silent thing that's happening because a lot of people don't be knowing it to unbeknownst and hopeful or creator it doesn't happen to you. But it's happening. And they don't have a reason for it. But again, what got taken down today, my video yesterday, extinction of the white race. Now that's about us killing them. About them what? Dying because they don't have to create and populate. So all of a sudden, mysteriously, the people who the most fertile can have baby, again, that you can have to put Planned Parenthoods in all the damn neighborhoods, locking black men up so you can't procreate. Something called estrogen they put in so that it's turned the male frogs into like becoming females, and they, right? We got all kind of stuff, again, spiritual things happening unbeknownst to most people. Oh yeah, you're going to leave when I talk like that. Of course you're going to get up out of here. You won't hear that. Of course you're going to leave. Anchors look like a tranny. More like Chad Hernandez. I caught that too. Right? So, but again, you know what I'm saying? But we're not supposed to report that. Don't act like we don't understand that. We don't see this. It's mysteriously, you know what I'm saying? Older black people having a baby, the baby coming out autistic. But we just seen, what's her name? What's that sister name? Tamara Hall have a baby with a white man, 48 years old. Baby fresh in a mug. Fresh in a mug. But if you and I, we over a certain age, 40s, and we have baby gonna have autistic, gonna have some deformities. The most healthiest people that built this country, all of a sudden now, you're gonna say because of our diet. Matter of fact, that's the diet we've been eating ever since we've been here. That pig has been the savior for us, even though a lot of you don't got all you're healthy now, you're Muslim and all that, but that damn pig is why you here today. And you ate the worst part of the pig that we turned into a delicacy. Yeah, we got off. We don't eat chitlins now and pig feet no more. That shit. I remember back in the day, shit, motherfucker used to go into the corner store, and there used to be a big ass jar, big ass pig feet coming up with that cellophane thing. Let me get one of them pig feet, bro. And had that motherfucker get you a pack of hot sauce. Motherfucker walking down the street eating pig feet. You understand? So it's something else that's somebody infusing that is causing all this. And it ain't just that. Yeah, I know that pig is a rat, cat, all that. Yeah, I get all that. But don't get it twisted. Our ancestors had to eat that to survive. Wasn't no veganism then. Oh, you probably could have ate that, but you'd be hungry all day. Wait a minute, you going to eat just some greens, some yams, you know what I'm saying? Then go from sun up to sundown. You'd be hungry in the mouth by the time. You'd be too hungry. You need something sit on that belly, right? But the pig back then, fat and nasty as he was and ate everything, You see old folks back in the day, thick. You know what I'm saying? Old folks would be big, old man. That's number that old man, the big old man, bust your ass, huh? You don't be scrawny and little, but nigga, huh? But to see somebody done altered the damn food, so now it don't give you the same then. You know, again, when they talk about GMO and extracted shit, so now you got the pig look like the motherfucker running on the treadmill. He's skinny and shit, right? You be fat and sloppy and shit. When you cook bacon and shit, you be sleepy, you wake up like, damn, mama in there cooking bacon. Now I cook some pig and bacon. You won't even know the motherfucker cooking and shit. You come and say, damn, oh yeah, I didn't even know you cook bacon and shit. Right? I know you know I'm pig eating niggas out there. I know. Anyway, moving on. So something is going on to the fact that something mysterious is going on in these maternity wards where one going in and only one coming out, and sometimes none coming out. So now you got to make legislation to find out, what's going on? Clandestine wars. How about that? Moving on. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Now, this one here, I have to say this because, again, this is coming some of the defects. All right, this is some of the defects that happens due to the simple fact we hear. And we have to talk about this sometimes. Sometimes some waywardness happens where, you know, again, you come from a long line of dysfunction on this. No rearing. Again, the difference between being born and raised is two different things. When you just born, that means you just came here. Nobody took the time to show you shit, put the game to you. You just kind of going along, run with them up just like that. You come with your leaning on your own understanding, and you do according to, again, the game that you playing. Now, that might be sufficient for what that is, but that don't mean that that's the way we've been functioning. Raised means somebody took the time to sit down, give you the games, woo, this, and this. This is how you do this. Trial and error. No, that ain't what you do. You do this, and then you progress and learn and develop. So when I see stories like this, I say, damn, see, this is the failures. This is some of the things that done happened to us that done caused us to be like this. Well, what you talking about, Mr. Blowout? Let me show you this. Be right back. Check it out.
Like, oh, not in Maple Heights. That's what just kept freaking me out. Not out here in Maple Heights. This couldn't have happened in Maple Heights.
Well, it did tonight. An arrest in a brutal attack that shocked that community. Maple Heights police say they've got the guy who attacked an 88-year-old woman who was waiting for a bus.
5 News side investigator Scott Knoll talked to people in Maple Heights. Thankful he's been caught.
That arrest came just one day after police here released pictures of the suspect. Investigators say that led to tips that coupled with DNA to lead them to the accused attacker.
They got him. They did. They caught him.
News of the arrest, all the talk inside One Stop Gas and Food Mart tonight. Workers say the 88-year-old victim was a regular here.
We have nice little conversations. She buys us nice little gifts sometime.
On the day of the attack, it was earrings. Then the 88-year-old told Marie Willis it was time to head home.
She said, Marie, I'm tired. I'm going to go on home and get on to the bus stop. I said, all right, I'll see you next time.
This surveillance picture shows the woman sitting on the curb across Turney Road. The man police say attacked her, standing right next to the 88-year-old. Pictures tell the rest of the story. A punch to the face. Then police say the man casually crossed the street and walked away. Investigators call the attack unprovoked. Willis remembers the sirens.
I'm like, what happened? So then they told me that somebody punched her. So I was like, oh my God, how did that happen that fast?
Police say the victim suffered facial fractures, broken teeth, and hearing loss. After nearly a week in the hospital, she's now at home recovering. And while she doesn't understand why someone would attack an 88-year-old just out for a day of shopping, Willis has this message for the guy who police say did it.
Put some God in your life. Put some God in your life and seek anger. Get help for your anger you're dealing with.
Willis says she doesn't recognize the guy in pictures from the attack. Investigators are expected to release more information about him once he's charged. In Maple Heights, I'm 5 on your side investigator Scott Knoll.
All right. Saw you seeing there where a story had broke. And looks like it was an 88-year-old who had been, I guess, part of the community, go back and forth to the store. Kind of have camaraderie, you know. She do little things like that. She 88, man. You understand? I've seen some videos out here with somebody getting at somebody who in their 80s too, right? And they defending one half and another. And again, it depends on how you look at it. But again, you teach his own, right? I just grew up in an era where, you know, old folks, old folks can say, it's like I could be saying things that some of y'all don't like, right? I was bullshit with the old body. Okay, yeah. And again, I open up the phone line and let you go ahead and we can go ahead and go back and forth, right? But again, there's a thing where, again, disagreements can be held by, again, when you're a little bit develop and understand. You can have words going back and forth of an understanding to try to get an understanding. Even if there's a disagreement, you can still walk away with, okay, you got what you understand, that's your understanding. But when it comes age differentials, right, there's a respect that's supposed to come just for the simple fact that, again, the stripes, you know what I'm saying? She done earned her stripes. Now, if this is being opposition, somebody else on the other side throw Granny from the train, if that had been that, maybe I'd say something different. Maybe it depends. If Granny pulling the pipe out on you and you do what you had to do, that would be different. But in this situation, okay, elderly is sitting on there waiting on the bus and you coming again, maybe you asked her for something. She wouldn't give it to you, right? Maybe it was some other stuff that had happened. Even if that being said, what makes a young man cold cock an 88-year-old, and that's justifiable? There's nothing that you could tell me that make that is kind of some cowardly ass shit that motherfuckers do. Or it's just that no respect, and everybody talking about, and a lot of people use this word, no, nobody disrespect me. Let me tell y'all something. There's some people on here who disrespect the hell out of all of us. But I ain't seen too many people running after motherfuckers to do nothing about that. But like I said, you always will turn against that which is weaker. Because that which, again, will tell you he's superior, right? But yeah, he always thinking you trying to attack him, but we don't ever see nobody attacking him. But we sure see them attacking us, and then we have our own people attacking us. And then even the elderly are not even safe. The kids ain't safe in school because teacher tell them, shit, you need to be picking my cotton, cleaning my house, motherfucking tasing them. We being seized by within the environment we have. I mean, damn, when are you going to start looking at shit from outside other than this shit that you're in? Again, everybody, again, because of the dysfunction. It's a lot, again, birth and raised. A lot of people out here just born. Leaning on your own understanding, the game that you pick up, that you seen that ate up so many of your people, but you're going to be the Neo. You're going to be the one that it don't do it to. It don't never manifest that way until you realize that you get smart enough to get out of that. And then you sit back and then you say, now use the OG. The OG had to make a decision at times. He had to kind of separate too. You didn't stay in that mug doing it banging from day in to day out the whole time. You won't get to live that long if you do. So when did the teaching come to be like, hey man, there's certain shit at the game we don't do. Elderly people, we don't fuck with them. Respect that. But again, because a lot of the hatred becomes from the simple fact that a lot of little boys end up despising their mama because of the way mamas be treating them. And that's not saying all women. Some of them grow up and then they despising their mama. So all women, if I want to cold cock my mama, ain't no woman safe around me. Ain't no woman going to be safe around you. Then after the fact, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of your bravado. It's kind of, shit, nigga, I don't give a fuck who you are, nigga. Nah, man, that shit ain't cool, man. Because I'm pretty sure you got some women in your life that you do love. And if somebody did that, nigga, you ready to go kill. So an 88-year-old woman, man, that shit is not cool at all, no matter how you slice that shit. So I had to put that out there, y'all. So I'm in the show. I got one more for the show. One more for the show. I'm almost on the 2 hour. I'm trying to cut them down, man. I'm not trying to do 3, man. I'm trying not to do 3. I could always do 3, but I ain't going to do 3. But this story here is in relevance to the same fact of, again, like, you know, there's a time when you do some shit like that, right? That when the system catch you, we ain't got no sympathy for your ass. It is what it is, right? Old Borelli said, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Yeah. Huh? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But when you ain't done no crime, why are you still doing the time? And get them up, still trying to make it stick on you. What you talking about, Mr. Blowman? Well, check this one out. Check this one out. Be right back.
After spending more than 30 years in prison for a murder he maintains he did not commit, Darrell Jones is at risk of being sent back again. Ahead of a new trial set to start Monday into the 1985 shooting death of Guillermo Rodriguez in Brockton, Jones' defense is dealing with some major recent setbacks. His case was first highlighted by the New England Center of Investigative Reporting and WBUR, which uncovered evidence that his conviction may have been the product of racial animus by at least one member of the all-white jury. On top of that, there was the video testimony used to help convict Jones, which the court determined was tampered with by Brockton police. It briefly cuts to a 1950s TV show, potentially omitting key exculpatory evidence. Following the reports at the end of 2017, a Superior Court judge vacated Jones' conviction and ordered a new trial shortly after. Since then, the altered video was ruled inadmissible and will not be shown in the upcoming retrial. But last week, a judge decided witness testimony from the first trial will be allowed, despite the defense's motion to exclude it after a new statement from some of the witnesses contradicted their original testimony. Yesterday, Jones' attorneys filed a motion to throw out his case altogether, arguing the new trial will be a virtual replay of the original trial that was fundamentally unfair to the defendant. Darrell Jones, who is now out on bail, is here again. Good to see you, Darrell. And his attorney, Paul Rudolph, joins me. Paul, it's good to meet you.
Thank you, Jim.
Did you ever think there would be a retrial in this case, Darrell? Or do you think that was going to be the end of it when they threw out your first conviction?
No, I didn't think it would be the end of it. I actually wanted a new trial. You know, it was something that I looked forward to because
to clear your name.
To clear my name, because just getting out and, you know, and being free, the public never knew. You know, I went away in '85 and no one ever knew I was even there. So I just wanted to.
So how do you feel? You're 4 days away. There's a motion to dismiss the whole thing, but assuming that fails, your trial starts in 4 days and your freedom is at risk all over again. How do you feel 4 days out?
Well, my freedom hasn't come yet. You know, I haven't had the freedom from the moment that I've been out because I've still been under their watch and dealing with what they did to me, and you know, you don't recover from it that quick. So I haven't taken it as freedom, although I've been happy to be around my family and friends. It just hasn't been freedom.
So do you actually look forward to this trial because you hope at the end?
Well, I looked forward to it before I saw what was occurring now, you know, and what was going on. I looked forward to it. Seeing the way that they're doing it, it makes me unhappy.
I want to talk about the way they're doing it, Paul, with you. Just to go down the list. The doctored part of that tape, that's gone. That's not coming back in this trial.
Correct.
Still no physical evidence, am I right?
Not a shred of physical evidence.
And no motive offered for this?
Darrell and this man didn't know each other, didn't communicate with each other, had nothing to do with one another. He was literally sitting in a bar eating a sandwich when this all happened.
Okay, so I think what Darrell is referring to about not crazy about the way things are going recently was the testimony of 3 eyewitnesses from the first trial. They testified in front of the court, I guess, pretty recently, saying that they didn't remember, they were forced to say what they said and identify him by the police at the time. What did the judge say about their testimony?
So actually all of these eyewitnesses have consistently testified about the identification procedures that the police used and have consistently testified, even back in 1986, that they did not identify Darrell Jones as the person who they saw commit the shooting. And what the judge did after this hearing was appoint them lawyers to advise them about their right not to testify. And so it's my understanding that probably none of those 3 witnesses will testify, and instead the prosecutor will simply have somebody read their testimony from 1986 to this jury.
So, but to be clear, the judge ruled that I don't know if it's a recanting, whatever they said in a recent hearing, yet again about the cops essentially directing them to point to Darrell or that they had no memory. He said not credible, and in one case affirmatively lying, which led him to say that the prosecutors could read this testimony. The thing I don't understand is, first of all, are these witnesses going to show up?
Well, they have showed up. I mean
at the trial.
Well, they won't, because they're going to be asserting their Fifth Amendment privilege, and they won't testify at the trial.
Now, I was a civil lawyer, not a criminal lawyer. I don't think I've ever heard of this. Is this unusual to be relying upon testimony read to a jury 30-plus years after it's offered?
It's not unusual perhaps for one witness's testimony, if they're unavailable, to be read to a jury. But in this case, almost every witness will not be appearing in front of this jury. 5 of the 6 eyewitnesses to this crime will not appear in front of this jury, and instead the jury will hear their testimony from 1986 without any opportunity for me as Darrell's lawyer to cross-examine him.
So I'll ask the stupid, obvious follow-up question. Obviously, one of the key jobs of a jury is to assess the credibility of a witness. How do they assess the credibility of a witness when it's being just read to them, not even by the witness, but by a third party? How do they do that?
It's a great question, and what's really unfair is that they will hear live testimony from the police officers who will claim that these eyewitnesses identified Darrell as the shooter, and in contrast they'll hear a cold reading of a transcript from 1986. That's the real unfairness.
This is what you were referring to a couple of minutes ago about the way things are being done this time around. Is that not what you were talking about?
That's exactly what I mean. I mean, the idea of me having a new trial was to get the people to come forward and say whatever they wanted to say, whatever they had to say. And they've basically found a way to exclude those witnesses once those witnesses came forward and said, you made me do it. You told me you're going to take my baby. You told me that you were going to put me in Framingham, you know. And then these people come forward. So it's like telling the public, if you ever recant or you ever come forward with the truth, we'll make sure that we'll do something to contradict you.
Why do you think they're prosecuting you again? Do you think they sincerely believe you're a murderer?
No, I think I just quoted myself the other day to someone, and I was saying that if you thought I was a murderer, you let me out in the world, and then you come and offer me a deal, with, in manslaughter at that. And so if I would have took the manslaughter,
that would have been 4 to 8 years. You would have been out long before.
Well, that was last time, and I think on the show it was 6 to 8 originally, and I would have did 4 years from the beginning of this. Now I've done 32, and now they come a couple of times and make these deals and try to get me to take a manslaughter, which means that day I could have just took it and this would have been over. And I'm going, why would I be taking a manslaughter when I didn't do it, period, no matter how low you make it?
Why do you think they're retrying this case? I mean, even if they believe that this man did kill the victim here, he spent 32 years in jail. And obviously he says he didn't, you believe he didn't, etc. So why do this all over again, do you think?
I think that's a great question to ask the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office. They've said they don't think he needs to go back to prison. They offered him time served, which he's not taking because he didn't do this. And on top of that...
When was that offered most recently?
They offered it in court a couple of weeks ago. But Darrell's not going to say he did something he didn't do. And beyond that, no objective person looking at this could actually say they're sure he did this because there's powerful evidence of his innocence.
I just want to be clear about this. I know you've both said it, but for the people at home and for me, the prosecutor in this case is saying, I am willing to make you a free man, free meaning not in jail. I don't mean freed from the guilt. If you take a plea, you don't go back to jail. You don't ever have to worry about going back to jail your whole life. And instead, you are risking going back to jail for the rest of your life because you don't want to admit you did something that you didn't do? Is that a fair statement here?
Well, that's more than a fair statement. I mean, the reality is it was someone I didn't even know, never met, never saw his face like you and I are talking. So if you're in a situation where something is occurring and you kind of, know the person or you can figure out you were around it. But like I said, I was inside of the bar. This is happening outside somewhere away from me that I don't even know it's occurring.
When this most recent offer was given to you, did you even pause for a second and say, well, I still am able to say whatever I want to say in the world. I will be physically free at least. Did you pause for a second before saying no?
No, I would never pause. It wasn't just once. It was offered like 3 different things, 3 different times. I was told that the offer was made, and the last time, in the courtroom, she brought it up, actually, the prosecutor, basically pointing out that he's not taking our deals, as though they were angry about it. And, why would I do that?
Are you comfortable with his decision?
Absolutely, 100%. He's innocent. He's maintained his innocence from the day he was arrested, and he's not going to say he did something he didn't do.
Wish you luck on Monday and beyond.
And what about, if I can say, right?
You can say whatever you like.
I think the reason for me doing it, and hoping that the public will pay attention is that they're supposed to prosecute in behalf of the Commonwealth, not because the DA wants to do it themselves. The victim's family has never participated. No one else has called for this. And if I didn't do this, what about the other brothers and sisters and women and, you know, and people that are incarcerated, that are sitting in prison now that are innocent too? And no one recognize them. What about them? What about all of us? And somebody has to be at the forefront of getting this out for everybody. And my hope is to bring out more cases and identify how this system works. Massachusetts, it's been a secret. Plymouth County is the worst, you know, and if you look back at the investigations that was done on that county for years, them using informants, people need to go back and look at the Brockton Enterprise and various places and look at how they were investigated. And they don't want me speaking out, and this is anger, you know, and retaliation. It's malicious prosecution, no matter how you do it.
Glad you are speaking out. Paul, it's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Really wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for talking.
You for having
I really appreciate it.
All right, doing the test round on this, see how this coming out. Yesterday didn't sound too good. I didn't like that. Says, Darrell Jones back in court as prosecutors seek grounds for retrial. You know I'm going to say that again. Darrell Jones back in court as prosecutors seek grounds for retrial. This story was done November 27, 2018. Under the caption it reads, says Darrell Jones embraces Reverend William Berry, who he calls Dad, following his release on bail after serving 32 years in prison for a murder he maintained he did not commit. And the story reads, the wheels of justice are turning slowly in the case of the Commonwealth versus Darrell Jones. Almost a year ago, Jones' murder conviction was overturned after a judge ruled he had not received a fair trial. He served 32 years in prison before his release in December 2017. On Monday, he was back in court to determine if Plymouth County prosecutors have sufficient evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to retry him. It was an intense and dramatic day of eyewitness who had testified 32 years ago in Jones' murder trial in the very same Brockton courtroom where he had been convicted. Even though there was no physical evidence or motive linking him to the murder, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole at the age of 19. His defense team called 4 women to the stand on Monday. Witnesses who had been in Brockton parking lot while Guillermo Rodriguez was shot and killed in November 1985. Rodriguez was a supposed Cuban cocaine dealer. At the original trial, none of them could identify Jones in the courtroom as the murderer, and their eyewitness accounts were contradictory. But their testimony was consistent in one area. The shooter was much shorter than the victim. Jones and Guillermo were just 1 inch apart in height. Jones' lawyer challenged the woman's testimony and the identification of the killer using photos provided by police. Denise Vanna, now 54, probably had the best view of the murder, but when she was questioned by defense attorney Paul Rudolph, she said she never got a good look at the killer. Many memories fade after 33 years, but even a few days after the killing, Vanna couldn't ID Jones when presented with a photo book of suspects. He asked me to point out who I thought it was. I told him I could not identify the guy, said Vanna on Monday. Adding to the confusion was that the defense had poor copies of the mugshot police had shown to eyewitnesses. Prosecutors Jessica Kinney didn't bring the originals to court, but said they probably were in the Plymouth County DA's office. The prosecution's original case depended almost entirely on a videotape Brockton police made of one of the women's eyewitnesses. But last month, Superior Court Judge C.J. Morality determined that critical portions of that tape, which had been deliberately altered by police, could not be used at Jones' retrial. Terry Lynn Starks, another eyewitness, testified she had been addicted to crack and alcohol at the time, and Brockton police had arrested her on prostitution warrants. In Methuen, 6 days after she witnessed the murder, they held her without charges overnight. Kenny challenged Starks over her often contradictory testimony. She repeatedly asked Stark if she was high when he testified before a grand jury. When she identified Jones' photo, Stark said she didn't remember. Another eyewitness testified she told police she didn't see the shooter and only pointed to Jones as someone she knew, not as the killer. She said police threatened to send her to the women's prison in Farmington if she didn't testify against Jones. At the end of the hearing, Kenny announced that after 11 months, the only witness she intended to call are two Brockton detectives who handled the case. Last year, a judge ruled that one of the detectives had lied in Jones' trial 32 years ago. The same detective, the judge ruled, perjured himself at a hearing last year. Jones erupted on Monday at what he said were deliberate delays. We brought every witness in here, Your Honor, that she told me for a whole year I can't get a job because this is going on. Kenny announced that Darrell Jones had left a voice message telling her to drop the case. Judge Robert Gosgrove said he revoked Jones' bail if he tried to speak to her and set the new pretrial hearing date for early December. All right. Old saying is what? Justice delayed, justice denied. Right? Say that again. Justice delayed is justice denied. I think my brother Kabir Bey said something. Let me see what that said right quick. Let me go back and check that out, what he said. Brother Kabir said, says the state doesn't want to be responsible and pay the brother. Yeah, that's what it looks like, right? Man that already did 32 years. Right? Brother done did 32 years for a crime he is persistently standing his ground on and will not comply to even ask him after he done did 32 years to offer him a manslaughter or a lower charge so that he can admit, because Kabir is right, he ain't trying to pay him. But you're going to ruin this man's life. And when you hear some of the things that the article talks about, I mean, again, 32 years in prison. He got released in December 2007. Then it was based on the fact that you seen that video, right? Where you see and then it broke into, it looked like that was either Hogan's Hero, one of them, or Pete, that was that Petticoat, some old ass show that used to come on, and had a scene where they were singing a song and the pianist had a damn blackface, right? Now this was supposed to be on the actual evidence. Somehow they got it copied, and it again, the creator good. The creator always, that fell out. You know what I'm saying? The truth don't need no partner. So that little truth fell out, with tampered. Now I know that the evidence that they was trying to convict him with was tampered with. So now we got to do is got to get the witnesses, right? And we see that they had no physical evidence. There was no motive linking him to the murder. And yet he was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole at the age of 19. So we see that his defense team had what? Called the women to the stand. And according to them back in 1985, that the individual that I think it was Guillermo Rodriguez supposedly had been a Cuban cocaine dealer. And that somehow he got killed that night. And then the people who eyewitness said they was for sure, one thing was certain in their testimony, was he was shorter than Guillermo Rodriguez. And they said, well, brother here was taller than him by an inch. So you can't mistake him for seeing that dude if he was shorter than this dude, right? So we see that the eyewitness accounts were contradictory as into the consistency on the one area, right? And then they was talking about the challenge. What Jones' lawyer did was he was challenging the testimony, and the photo that they had used. Did you hear that bullshit when they said the prosecutor was like, oh, we didn't bring it, and most likely it's still at the district attorney's office? How are you going to prosecute somebody and according to what you had showed, probably didn't even match up? Remember the story we did about the other show? We're talking about the young man that gave him 76 years in jail for a dude that was blind. And then remember they went through the photo and they were showing him, but again, the one he identified didn't even match up to the dude he was supposed to be testifying against. But yet they still gave him 76 years. But see, we be making these stories up, right? We make these stories up. And so we see that this brother, after all this time, steadfast in his position to now come back and try to retrial him on the same stuff that you got. But the thing is, the one thing that they're trying to use is what the witness had originally said. Then when they went in for the pre-trial, when they brought the testimony of the witness and he was there physically, that's why he went into the outburst like, hey, wait a minute. The people here saying this, why don't we just throw this trial? This is over. No, that ain't what they did. So now, based on what done transpired in between, now you know what motherfucker gonna come back there and be like, hey, if you go in there and testify, things gonna happen to you. Shit gonna go bad for you, right? So now the witnesses don't want to testify on the hand, not because they don't want to tell what happened. It's just the simple fact if they do tell, it's not gonna go in correlation to what they want. And it's not gonna prosecute him. And so they going to try to use an affidavit primarily is what they basically not having the testimony of the witness there. They're basically going to use the testimony written is like an affidavit. And then, you know, the other side is going to dismiss it, but they ain't here to be cross-examined. So their words going to stick. So he is taking a chance because they already done railroad. As Kabir Bey said, it's about that kickback they got to give him. Another notch on the belt that they wrong. You let the killer get away. But he's the one that has to take this, right? So I'll keep my eyes up on this case here because, again, being where it's at, that ain't going to make national news, right? That's not going to make national news. And so we just have to see, man. That's what I'm saying. We walk out here daily, and anytime we out here, there's always a possibility that some shit like that can happen. Motherfucker decide they want to put the shit on you. You got to sit there and try to fight, and hopefully you got money to fight. And if you don't, by the time you do get it, it may be 30 years later. And still, come to find you not did it, they still gonna say, well, just take it anyway, just so, you know, we'll let you out. You don't have to worry about going back to jail. I done did 32 years. We talking about go back to jail. Because you gave me a life sentence, knowing that I ain't do it. See, they look at you with a straight face, though, like ain't nothing wrong. It's all the figure of our imagination. I'm going to pretty much conclude my show today unless anybody wants to call in, because I can't put the number up there, right? I'll be a little scared to do that, right? I'll just throw it up there for the hell of it, right? Give a minute or two. If not, then what I do is I will close the show out, right? So go ahead and throw it in. Just in case somebody who wants to say something, there's a number up there, 262-922-8755, or anything of the show that you've seen that you want to come in and talk about, or just want to bring something to it, just say what's good. It's all good. Yeah, number is 262-922-8755. Not, give a minute or so. And we will go conclude for today's show. Again, I told you I'm trying to get on daily again. You know, I'm fighting shit in the background. Y'all just don't know. I'm probably going to have to end up changing my damn intro or the way my show ends because, again, based on what they pulling, they're trying to say, you know, these, you know, like I'm really attacking them or I'm inciting. I'm not inciting shit. The facts is what it is. I ain't trying to incite shit. No need to do that. Shit, it's funny, the motherfucker doing all the shit they doing here, but we inciting. No, I ain't inciting shit. You just guilty of shit. That's just your conscience. All right, so I guess they're going to get no calls. So I'm going to say, give a shout out to all those who did say something today. And here I got, I'm going to say, 85 is the cracker era. Oh, the crack era. You know that's right. A lot of us got that. Remember the other show I did maybe three shows ago when I gave the history and showed you the connecting. Okay, remember the crack came in right in the 80s, 70 going into the 80s, right? Then they got the meeting that's happening in hip-hop, right? Then crack epidemic is just taking over, you know what I'm saying? So it's like all that shit just fit into what it did. It's all design. All design. But we're not supposed to say that. We're not supposed to act like that's something that's real. And our people don't still want to talk about it and how the young was behind us. Because, you know, they just recycle shit. They'll change the name, but they're going to do the same ass shit. So it's incumbent on us. We got to talk about it. We can't just act as if this is not a big part of our existence here. We got to say it. So, again, I want to thank everybody. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who did say something today. Again, I got y'all. I got my brother in here, y'all, Abdul Kabir. I got the Leonard DeYuta. Metasimplaco, right? No, I'll be saying your name probably wrong though, there, brother. But you know, again, until you tell me directly, I have to say it the way I think I could pronounce it. I think I could read pretty good. So it's everybody else and those who catch it on the replay. More love to you, black love. Stay vigilant, stay conscious, and always observant. Again, it ain't about us hating nobody. This only defense we got is to stay up on what's going on. Some people can't take it because they think that, man, you on that race shit. But shit, how come I can do a 2-hour show on it? And you doing, most of them are doing a show with one piece of shit. I can do several. If I was just to do like they do and just do one, I have about 50,000 videos and shit probably in a year. I got 50,000 videos done in 1 year. That's how much material I got. Every day I can come on, like I said before, I can come on 365 days and come on every day with something different with the same ass topics. Because that's how prevalent it is in our world. So again, I want to thank y'all for all coming out. This is the Black Minds News. I'm your host, the White House, Mr. Blow Your Minds. Until the next show, go ahead and do it, see if they're going to knock it today. It might be the last match.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on! And it definitely was not prepared for black people to in the end begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they died for. Right on! Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good News, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf. They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin.
They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. They were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to kill you! You can't make me do anything like Chris!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil. Because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins. Well, naturally, it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, "Brother Greg, you coming by today?" And I said, "Malcolm, I love you." And I said, "I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there." He said, "What do you mean, Brother Greg?" I said, "Well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East." And I said, "But I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you."